I knew that because I wanted a TV show. I wanted to do these bigger things with my business. And I knew that it was going to come out one way or the other. So I could tell my own story and I could leverage that and I could tell it in my way, or I could let someone else tell it in a very scandalous way.
Awesome.
So I started thinking about how I could leverage that. And I had a great branding mentor. And when I told him I used to be a stripper, he said, that is branding gold. Why would you not tell me that before?
It totally is. That's what first initially, that's the hook. And then you realize you have the goods to back it up.
Well, and that's the thing about it is that when, for those of you who are watching this, think about, I call it a leverage story, and everybody has one, and maybe not everybody used to be a stripper, hopefully not. But if they were, or if they have something in their past or like that defining moment, like what's that hook for people? How are people going to connect with you?
That's what you did for me too. When I read your book, Revenue Results and Red Carpet Dreams.
Right.
It sounds so corny, but it was a life changer for me. And part of that was just embracing who I actually am and getting really connected to my story in a way, and adding that red carpet dream, what I want. It just gave me so much clarity, and just you kind of set a good example just to begin with before you even cracked the book open. So that kind of already got me on the path, and I really just applied all the lessons in that book. And it was amazing.
And everybody, I think business is, we think that, especially when we're first starting out, it's like, I need to be like everybody else, or I can't show this part of my personality. But that's what people want, and that's what's going to set you apart, and that's what's going to be easiest for you to get behind. So really everything that I do at Daily Whip is about helping you build your confidence. And so many people tell you what to do. Well, I teach you how to do that. And so
can we tell people a little bit what the Daily Whip is specifically?
Yeah, so Daily Whip is my main hub, dailywhip.com.
Right.
And that is my focus. The clients that I help are women business owners, women entrepreneurs, women that work within organizations where they are entrepreneurs within that organization. And the ultimate goal, again, is to help them build their business confidence, because, again, when you have confidence, you can do anything. Like anything you want, it's going to happen for you because you believe it's going to happen. So there's 2 courses that I'm offering now. The first is called the Morning Whip, and that is really the beginning place for most people, unless they've had tons of coaching or they're already feeling super confident. Like then they can go to my next course. But at Morning Whip, all the materials, all the lessons, it's a 30-day live group coaching class. And I say live, it means because you get feedback from me. I'm very active because I'm pretty bossy, and so I like to get in your stuff, and because I can concept and create ideas, and that customization piece of how you deliver your business, you have to personalize it, you have to customize it to you, because then you can feel confident around it. You have to understand what you're up to on the planet, like your bigger purpose, your bigger mission, your bigger revolution. So if we look at Zappos as a perfect example of this, they're not just selling shoes, they're delivering happiness, and they do everything in that within their clients to their corporate structure, which I'm a Zappos customer, and that makes me feel good about buying that. Where I've seen other shoe companies, their big thing is, we have free shipping too. Well, it's not just about the free shipping. It's about their movement, their culture, their mission, their purpose, their business purpose.
Right.
And so there's lots of shoe companies that their thing is like, we want our customers to feel happy, and we want the people that work here to feel happy. And so it's not just about the bottom line, which is, that's very 90s, and businesses that are just bottom line are not going to make it, because people are like, this is bullshit. I don't want this. Life's way too short.
And we have so many choices now anyway. I mean, you can just be like, click, goodbye.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
So Morning Whip is really, it's 30 days. It moves really fast. It's really fun. The women who come to Morning Whip they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, but they also want to shape their industries. via organic living or sustainability, creativity, soulful businesses, shaking up the status quo. So they're not up to business as usual.
And it's all women.
It's all women,
Okay.
yes. They want to make tons of cash, and they want to, create a positive impact on the planet.
I think money is a big thing for women in particular. We're taught to be nice, and if we're a spiritual person, like I know you are, sometimes we're taught that money is bad, or that, people have a hard time charging for their services if it's not something really tangible. And I love that is a whole part of your program, and what you offer is building those money-making muscles and your self-esteem and confidence to rise to the occasion and really feel your own worth and your own value. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, and the money piece, it's something that it's not talked about enough. Usually when people talk about money, it's about the budgeting or creating a debt repayment plan or investing. And those are all important things, but it goes back to that confidence piece. It's that blood and soul. My programs have been described as the blood and soul of your business. And even though there's lots of tips and ideas, like that is what I'm really the best at, is helping women and men. But even though like men are not a part of my programs now, it's because I really need this container for women to build their confidence. And it's not that I don't adore men. I mean, I've worked with men for 20 years. I'm happy to take their money, but this is a different program for that. And, when you can ask for money as easily as you can say, I'd like a glass of water, it changes the game for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a lot of experience in asking for money. When I was a stripper, if I wasn't asking for the dance, I wasn't getting paid.
Yes, that's something I'm working on. That the first word of your book is revenue. I love that. And you really are about the ask, like ask for what you're worth and stuff. I think that's awesome. And I also I believe in a holistic approach to kicking ass,
Right.
Every part of your life has to work. And it really grabbed my attention when you were talking about, is it green smoothies or green juicing that you do? Smoothies. I'm a smoothie girl too.
Yeah, it's Vitamix, so it's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's so important. People neglect their health, and then it gets in the way of their business, and it gets away of their money. Like everything works together, and I thought it was awesome that a business book was addressing taking care of your body and your health.
Well, and that's the other thing too is in my Hustle Your Business boot camp. Now that is the bigger course that's 8 weeks long, and where am I going? Oh, so my philosophy, my viewpoint around hustling is it's not about the close rate. I think close rates are depressing for people. I mean, if that inspires you, by all means do it, but I don't think the majority of people are excited about their close rate. Or I've had clients that work in financial services, and like how much money they made or brought in, it's like it's broadcasted every week, and like I don't think that's motivating for them. And so looking at my view of hustling, it's not transactional. When I worked in a strip club, it was very transactional. I wasn't in charge of the marketing of the club. I wasn't in charge of these other things. It was like, you want to dance or not? Let's get on with it. And it is very fast-paced, very transactional. But when I moved into real estate, it was about building relationships. And I would have people come look at real estate, the space wouldn't work for them, and then they would come back 2 years later and they would say, remember how nice you were? Or even the fact that you were the only person who called me back. Like I've called 10 for lease places, and you're the only person who called me back. And I'm just like, what is wrong with people? Why are they turning away money? I don't get it. And looking at the bigger piece of that, and our tenants would be a great referral source for us, because we really, it wasn't always perfect. Like it's never perfect, but really do our best to help tenants, not only with their spaces, but even in their businesses. Like we'd had several times where tenants were struggling with business, and my dad and I would meet with them and talk about some strategies to get them going. And like one of the things is like build a banking relationship right away, have a lawyer in your court right away, and start building these relationships before you need them. And so the hustling, so in Hustle Your Business Bootcamp, it still is about the bigger piece. So when I look at my business, it's like right now, like I'm hustling right now. So this is going to go out to your people.
Yes.
I'll link it to my people. And, everything is you're constantly hustling, always selling, always hustling, but it doesn't mean always asking for the business. There's different ways to do it. And marketing, even though Hustle Your Business Bootcamp isn't a marketing course, we do cover a little bit of marketing, and keeping your marketing really simple and focused on your message. And marketing makes a sale easier, because when people understand your things and your marketing is perfect for your clients. So my people love fun and kind of like saucy things, and the branding piece of it, and looking at your connections and who do you know and who's willing to help you, and also how you ask people. Are you getting pissed if people say no? Are you getting pissed if people procrastinate and making a decision to work with you or not, or to buy your product? And taking a look at, like, how are you showing up? Who are you being in the ask? Because the most times that I've made money in my life is when I was really confident, and part of that is having fun and not being attached and being of service and being really willing to help people.
How did you go? You said you had low self-esteem, and to me, you're the antithesis of that. I just almost can't imagine it. Like, how did you go from there to there? Like, how did you get that confidence that you have?
Well, removing myself from Seattle was a big piece of that, because I really got to start over. And when I first moved to Seattle, like, I didn't have any friends, even though I grew up here. I hadn't lived here in 11 years. And when I was in high school, I started in junior high. I just didn't connect with most people. I was very much an outsider. I was, nobody was mean to me, but I just didn't really connect. Like a lot of the more artistic kids, I was too business oriented, or too bossy, or too something. It wasn't, I'm very type A. I'm very split down the middle. And then like the popular kids were super boring to me. And I'm like, I don't go to football games. And so I had a hard time fitting in. And so when I came back from Seattle, I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. And that was just because I didn't fit it. I don't resonate with these people.
Did getting onto your spiritual path, I know you do yoga and you meditate, was that a part of that? Oh,
yeah. Well, I started doing yoga in about 1995, I think. And I started meditating back then. Not to the extent that I do it now. But that was a part of it. But really, it was removing myself from Seattle, being able to start over. And then also the coaching program that I did really helped me realize that my past was in my past. And, being around my mom is one of the most incredible people on the planet. And my dad is so supportive. And oh my God, I'm going to cry.
I love that.
I know, they're so awesome. And
you can feel that in your work too, Erika. It really comes across. It does.
Okay. And so having them on my team was really essential, and their support. And, I just from then on, I started to attract really great people in my life. And I've done a lot of, and I talk about this in Revenue Results and Red Carpet Dreams. I say, you have to get yourself 1,000% on board. And so I've had a lot of I get rolfing done and biostructural therapy. I've had acupuncture. Like if there's a treatment, I've probably done it.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, my rolfer has turned her practice into, she calls it biostructural therapy. And I would say that's my favorite.
I've heard it called structural integration therapy as well. I think
she has her own mix, because she pulls a lot of things in. So she's like me; she's a super big geek, and so she pulls a lot of different things into that. So that, and then I would say that's probably my most favorite thing that I do. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get this in under 30 minutes, but there's so much I want to ask you. I wanted to ask you about your sound bites, because that is one of the most fun parts. First of all, to anybody watching, you must go sign up for Erika's newsletter. It's awesome. And what the best part about it, or not the newsletter, I like the newsletter too, but the daily, what's it
The
called?
daily
The
whippings.
daily whippings. You get
Yeah.
just this little bite-sized chunk of Erika Monday through Friday. And what is, well, one you say is make time your bitch, and that's kind of all throughout your work, which I
Right,
love.
right.
And I woke up, I wrote this down because it was awesome. This is what I woke up to this morning. Get off your ass and act. Go do now. Where do you come up with all of these? And how do you do it 5 days a week? Like, are
Well,
you like
those are
scraping the
written.
bottom of the barrel?
Those are written those are written months in advance. And one thing that I learned very early on, when I was in college, if you would have told me that I was going to become a writer, I would have punched you. And I've always hated writing. And but as a women's studies major, I was like, that's one of the things is like you have to write. That's all you do is write papers. And the thing that I found is that if I was given freedom to come up with my own angle, then I did really well. So I always think of like how would Erika position it. Even when I did yoga on a TV show that was here a few years ago. And when we did the practice run, it was a brand new TV show. They're like, remember, this is TV. And I was like, oh, okay, this is super boring. How can I make this fun? And because if I can't do yoga as yoga because it's TV and it's not good for TV, how can I make it fun? So like I played a little prank on the hosts. And it was, I started out with, if you know, Bird of Paradise.
Okay.
So you bend over and you kind of, well, I won't demonstrate it right now, but you bend over, you grab the other leg, you kind of like twist yourself up like a pretzel, and then you stand up on one leg, and one leg's down, and then you're kind of like doing the splits with the other leg it's very complicated. And so I was like, oh, we'll just start with a basic pose. So I start doing the Bird of Paradise with them, and they're like, okay, this is not basic at all. Anyways, I was like, I have to have fun. I'm kind of pulling ball.
Yeah, you do too. I do. That's why I love following your daily whip.
Yeah,
It's
but I
awesome.
found that, like, I think in sound bites. So these ideas I have, they literally are like boop, 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 little popcorns that go through my brain. And
I have a bunch of them in here too. This is my daily quote book, and you have many entries in here. And I keep swearing, I'm sorry, but you do too, so I have to quote you because this is awesome. The first step to getting anywhere is getting off your fucking ass. I have this in my bathroom on a Post-it, in my book, and in my little date book because I don't know, something about that just got me really fired up. And
I love that you have the Oprah book. I have that same Oprah book.
Yeah, she sent it late, and I'm like, well, what can I do with it now? The class is over. I'm like,
I know. I got mine super late, too. I'm like, where's this alleged Oprah journal?
Yeah, so now it's I have a bunch of these, but it's my latest quote book.
Yeah.
So, love Oprah.
So I just decided, what I realized is that, like, again, these popcorn bites, and that I was able to, that's how I think, is I think in sound bites. The other thing is that people remember sound bites.
Yeah.
And so that's just that's how the process started. And, now I have a fantastic team. So, I'm very collaborative. I mean, I can't do everything all the time on my own. So, I have a fantastic team, and together we work to make the best daily whippings that we possibly can that are going to resonate with my audience.
You're really a collaborative person with some of your alumni, too. I've noticed just today I got an email from you saying that you're going to be doing a free call with Shanae.
Shanae, yes.
And she did both of your programs. So
yes.
She's a graduate of the daily
graduate.
the daily whip of Hustle Your Business and the Morning Whip. Both.
Yeah.
So now you're working together, or you're just
We're doing a teleclass. So what I've seen from Shanae, I met her a year ago, and I'm just going to toot her horn a little bit. I met her a year ago, even before I was just starting Morning Wit. And what I've seen from her, she did Morning Wit, I think she did it 3 times. So she just kept putting herself in the class. And what I've seen, and this is a great example of what can happen, is if you're willing to get off your fucking ass.
Right.
She is, I'm a talent spotter. And so right away I saw incredible passion from her, incredible generosity, but she's so sweet and so kind. And just a lot of intense talent. And I think especially when people are really super talented, they can really be all over the place because they're so talented. They don't know how to package it yet. Mm-hmm. And so she got really clear on what she wants to do in her business and how she wants to show up in the world. And so, we've many, many conversations, and like really her thing is she's like a creative director. And so I have reached out to her for ideas for my business. And especially because someone who's done Morning Whip 3 times, like she knows what's going on and what it's up to. And, but she has this incredible class called Hot Brand Action. And it's kind of the format, it's kind of similar to Morning Whip. It's a 30-day course, and it's all about branding. And she does it in such a way that's really fun and it's really playful. And so the women who come through Morning Whip, because I only have so much to say, even though I know we've gone past what we said we were going to say. But
no, that's my fault, I think.
Course, I want to share the spotlight, and I'm really proud of the women who have done my programs and have been really successful at them and really have put in their A+ effort into that. And I want to promote them. So they have things that, like Shanae has things to teach that I could never teach. And I get a ton of ideas from her. So she's part of she's a resource that I go to.
That says so much about your heart, that you're not a competitive person. You're not coming from an ego-based place where you need to elevate yourself and be the guru. I so appreciate that about you.
I don't find that. I would say when I first started, that was the place I wanted to be, like, get off your ass or else. But what I found is that's not helpful for people. It doesn't inspire them. And I don't want to be the only one drinking champagne.
Yeah, that's kind of lonely, isn't it?
Very lonely. And when I was in apparel design school, those were probably some of the funnest years of my life, the most fun years of my life. And it was like, if you imagine Project Runway, that's how we worked in a big workroom for 2 years. And so I got to know the people in my program very well. I love collaboration, and I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm horrible at. So I can't do everything. And especially in growing an empire, I really have to think like Martha Stewart and focus on the things that I'm the best at, and everything else gets delegated. And because one of the beauties of taking so long to start on my own path all on my own is that I've had years to study and to learn and to take courses and develop my intellectual property. And because when I first started, I think that if I would have started Think Like a Stripper, it would have been a huge mistake for me to have someone ghostwrite it. And so, but I'm still collaborative. I'd still had other writers come in and help me craft my message and to say the better words, or I say, like, I need a better word than amazing. What's a better word than amazing? So I've gotten a lot of traction via collaboration, and also I can't do everything, and I'm not great at everything. And so I use my team, but I know how to leverage my team, and I know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Nice. And Think Like a Stripper, How to Hustle Like You Mean It, is your second book. The first one, Revenue Results, Red Carpet Dreams, that's more of a workbook focused on...
That's a workbook, and what started out is that helped me create my coaching methodologies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and so what I did is I started people noticing I'm a pattern watcher. I watch people and I recognize patterns. And I started to notice that everybody kind of had the same stuff, so I started taking notes. And I thought, well, if I can condense these down, I call them the whip mastery mindsets. And if I can condense these down into bite-sized pieces that are easy to remember, then I'm creating the structure for them. And so I bring the structure, they bring their life, and then it's plug and play, and they're ready to go.
Awesome.
And so that was just going to be a manual just for clients. And people said, this is so good, you should sell it. So I just, I put it up for sale on my site, and it sells. And I am going to be doing something with it. Once Think Like a Stripper is done, I'm going to be reformulating it, doing something else with it. But the core, the essence, the sound bites, that will all still remain the same.
Nice. And then is Think Like a Stripper, is that more autobiographical? Is it, or does it also have workbooky type components to it?
It's kind of similar, but how it's broken down is that I call them stripper tips. And so each tip is like the beginning tip is the story, and then there's the advice. So there's the stripper tip, and then there's the strip down.
Okay, cool.
So you can see how it works very well in Revenue Results and Red Carpet Dreams. You get the whip down, and think like a stripper, you get the strip down.
Nice.
I know, they just happen to rhyme.
Yeah, that's perfect. I will definitely be first in line to get that when it's available.
Yay.
And
Yay.
is it coming out this summer, or am I wrong?
Well, that's always my plan.
Okay.
But things always take longer than I want.
Yes, that's
And
me.
so-
I relate.
Yeah, so I think it'll be this fall. I'll know. I'm getting really close. Like, we're shooting the cover for it at the beginning of April.
Ooh, fun.
So I'll be able to start planning and getting those things in place. So
Well, is there anything before I let you go? Like, is there one little tidbit you can throw out at maybe a woman that's watching this who wants to start her own business, but she's kind of shaking in her boots? I mean, for sure,
Yeah.
she needs to go to your website and check out what you've got. Definitely try her 15-minute free whipping that she offers to get a taste of what that's all about. But what would you tell that person today?
I would say if you're shaking in your boots, you're probably onto something.
Okay.
Because if you weren't scared, it wouldn't be a challenge. And the things that scare the crap out of us are usually the things that we need to do immediately.
Good advice. I love it. Perfect. Okay, well, thank you, Erika.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it was awesome. Thank you for putting up with my woo-woo nervous energy. Hopefully that'll burn off as the series goes forward.
That was great. You did great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yay, much love. Peace. So that was it. My first interview for Every Which Way. I hope you guys liked it and got something out of it. Please go to dailywhip.com and tell Erika I sent you and that you love that interview she did with that witchy woman's forehead. Much love, everybody. Peace.